Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today you can see by the title and my bare face that we're gonna do another get ready with me. It has been a while. I just haven't really taken the time to film any get ready with me's, and today I was like, I have time today. What do I want to do? And I decided to recreate my look that I did for a... that was my cat jumping out of the windowsill. For a rave that I went to this weekend. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a different color, but the base is the same. So I'm gonna show you kind of my process as to what is sort of my go-to look when I go to these types of events. Yeah, I'm very tired. I've slept for 12 hours last night. I needed that really, really badly. This is probably the only thing that I'm gonna do today, and possibly film 1 or 2 videos. I don't know if I can find the energy for it, but we're gonna do the get ready with me. I've primed my lids, I've set my primer. The setup is not the best for doing a get ready with me, but I'm gonna work with what I've got. The basic is I'm gonna start with light brown and work my way up to black, and then do a color in the middle of my lid. I'm gonna be using mostly Glam shop shadows because I have a nice gradient of browns to black. And then for the color, I'm obviously gonna use a Micka Beauty Shop single because I love those. So let's get started. Am I gonna do tape? Yep. So I do most of the times use some tape to create some sharp edges, just because then I can just place down the color and not really be very precise with it. Although I do have to say tape is not very comfortable, so most of the time I just pull it off once it starts to really annoy me. Beautiful. Can you even see what I'm doing? It is quite bright out, so I'm gonna try my best to not squint too much. So I'm gonna take a light brown. This is the shade Cocoa Cream. That is what it looks like, just a light brown. So that will be my first shadow that I put down. And I'm gonna use... these shadows are so soft and powdery. I'm gonna use a fluffy brush and I'm gonna concentrate it on the outer part of my lid and then into my crease. And I always place my crease shades a little bit higher up than my actual crease, because if I put them in my actual crease, they disappear once I open my eyes. So just putting that there, and then ever so slightly above where my actual crease is, and then also kind of gets in my crease, but there's that. I don't really know if you are actually going to be able to see this color, but it's more of like a base that I put down, and it also will help with the blending of the other shades that we'll put on top. And then I'm gonna take the same brown and I'm gonna take this brush. This is one that I usually use in like my outer corner, but I'm gonna take that same brown and put it on the very inner part of my lid. And then also kind of bring it in to the crease. And then I'm trying to keep the middle of my lid bare. Doesn't really matter if the color gets there, but that's what I'm trying to do. Then I'm gonna go into the darker brown. This one is Fruitcake. so that is ever so slightly darker. And I'm gonna place that with the fluffy brush. Again, focus on my outer corner. And then once it's focused on there, I will drag it into my crease. But with this one, I will stop like halfway. So I will not drag it all the way through my crease, like so. Again, I have no idea if you can actually see what is happening, but this is just to build up that gradient, because I feel like if I start with a black, it's very intense. It can be quite a challenge to blend out. So I like to put down this like darker or this gradient of browns before I put black. And then I take the same brown color on that smaller brush, put it in the inner part. And this again is just ever so slightly a bit of color. So like with the lightest color, I drag it inward a little bit more, and then the darker the colors get, the less I drag it inwards. And that's kind of the same for the outer corner. I keep focusing on like the outer edge. I hope this makes sense, you guys. Then another brown shade. It's getting all over my fingers. Great. Oh, the back is very disgusting. This one is roasted coffee or roast coffee. I don't know. I cannot read it because the back has shadow all over it. Ew. Anyway, let me wipe my fingers. That is my darkest brown. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that on the fluffy brush and put it on the outer edge. If you can hear any purring, my cat has joined me. She's very happily chilling on a big blanket. Are you? You happy? You're so cute. And this one, I'm not even really dragging into my crease, this dark brown, just like on the edge. And I just try to match both sides. But honestly, it's not a very big deal if it's not completely even. Okay, I'm taking this brush again with that dark brown. The tiniest bit. I'm just gonna tap it here and here. And then sort of blend it. And then there's that. And then we are gonna go into the black. So I have this black, it's also from Glam shop. This one is called Baba Yaga. Mine looks a little bit butchered because I also put 𝓮𝓵𝓼 in it to make a liner. So it's a little bit messy, but just a black shadow. Put that on my fluffy brush. And I like to start with this one carefully. So just the tiniest bit. Focus on the outer edge. And then I can always add if I need to. And you can of course make this as dark or as black as you would like. But I like the gradient to black with that dark brown. It gives it like a softer edge, if you will. So this is my technique for this. And also I like darker shadow. I get sort of what the aesthetic is for most of these parties, but honestly I just love my glitters and multi-chrome shimmers too much to not put those on my eyes, even if everyone really wears black and loves black. I just need a little bit of something special. So I'm taking that smaller brush again, tiny bit of the black, dot it, and then sort of drag it. I'm trying to focus it on like my inner corner. Okay, so then there's that, and then you can see that middle part of my lid is untouched. Doesn't have to be perfect. Let's be real, on occasions like these, I mostly wear my sunglasses anyway, so it's whatever. So then, this gradient is my base. That's put down. And we can pick a fun color to go with. Let me clean these brushes. Put them here. So what I did actually I can remove the tape now, I think, because it's kind of getting annoying. Oh, there we go. Very sharp line. If you want, you can still like blend that out if it's a little bit too much. I quite like it, but you can always kind of run a fluffy brush on the edge to soften it if that's something that you prefer. Yeah, and then for color, I did this one last Saturday. This is Mosaic. So it's a purple. Oh my gosh, I can never show these on camera. It's a purple to, you can see very clearly it's blue. Purple to yellow to blue. It's crazy. It's a crazy one and I love it. But I think, oh, and then I topped it with this one. This is a more flaky one, so I just want it a little bit more. This is Opera. So it's a, I can see blue, green, and then going to yellow. So I put a little bit of that flaky one on top. But I think for this one, because I was contemplating between these two colors last Saturday, I'm gonna put Renaissance, and that is a green to blue to purple. So I think I'm gonna use that one. And I'm gonna take that on my finger, because these Micka Beauty Shop, oh my gosh, look at that. That's like a beetle color, isn't it? The blue and green and oh my goodness. So I'm gonna take that on my finger and then dab it in the middle of my lid and like focus on just the middle. Don't worry about the edges yet. And then once it's concentrated in the middle, I will kind of try and blend it into those browns and blacks. So overlap it ever so slightly. Now you can choose if you want to keep it on your lid, or I like to kind of blend it out towards like my crease so you can still see. If I look straight ahead, you can also see it above there. Is that making any sense? I'm taking a little bit more, focusing on the middle. Excuse me. And then for the other eye, I'm doing the same. So here we go. This is what we have so far. You could leave it like this. I chose to put a more flaky shadow from Micka Beauty Shop over top just to give it a little bit more. I also brought this pigment that I think could work, so I think I'm gonna take just a little bit of that and top it. I'm just gonna take a little bit. Oh, that is gorgeous. That gives it just a hint of blue. That is what I love about these Micka Beauty Shop singles. Like, I have these colors, but then once you combine them, you make even better colors because they were all so shifty and beautiful. And this, by the way, is the multichrome pigment in the shade Popcorn from Micka Beauty Shop. So here we have it right here. Now you can leave it like this if you want to. I need to stop ducking out of frame. You can leave it like this. I like to do the same brown to black gradient on my lower lash line. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I'll be right back to finish off this look. So put down all the browns. It looks a bit crazy, I know. I'm gonna put the black in the like most outer part up to the middle. Now I feel like my tape has been a little bit too high. I like this to kind of connect, so I'm gonna try and fix that so this line will not be as sharp. It'll have to do. There we have it. I'm gonna clean up the fallout because that does happen with the Micka Beauty Shop singles. You get a little bit of fallout. Okay, I've put on my mascara. I'm gonna put some white pencil in my inner corner. And then what I did was I added a little bit of this ColourPop Twilight highlighter. This is the Super Shock highlighter in the shade Meadow, and this has a purpley blue flip to it, so it doesn't really do much on its own, but then on top of that white pencil it does kind of pop. So I put that in my inner corner, and then there is the eye look. Now, if this was really a look for going to a festival or rave, you could always add glitter. I like to do glitter freckles or just like around this part, concentrate glitters here. I did glitter in my hair Saturday, so I do a middle part, two little ponytails or little space buns, like a half updo with ponytails or space buns, and then put glitter and gel on like the parting. You could do that. For this look, seeing as I'm not going anywhere, and I do have to film a video, I'm gonna leave it like this. You could do eyeliner if you wanted to. I did that Saturday, but my liquid liner dried out, so I did one eye, and then I had to do Duraline into my black eyeshadow to finish doing my eyeliner, and I don't want to do that today. So we're gonna leave it at this. I'm gonna put on some blush and some highlighter to finish it off, and then that is it. I think this eye has gotten better than this eye, but there's always one side that looks better in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I'm just not good enough to do both sides equally good. All right, so I added some blush, some highlighter, did a little bit of a butter gloss on my lips, and then this is the finished look completed. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a different look than what I usually do on my channel, but it's also something that I love. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in one of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.